Warning: the following episode contains adult language and adult themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. This content is recommended for adults age 21 and over.
He did go to prison for pedophilia. Both my sister and I were abused
By your father?
by our father. And so we have had to deal with that trauma throughout our lives.
Welcome to the perfect society where Democrats and Republicans both get their way, and so does everybody else. Visit everybody'shappy.com for more information. I'm Curt Derby. Thank you for joining us today. Today is one of our Brainspace episodes where we will fill your mind and maybe even change your life. I have with me today Alicia Hensley. Alicia, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alicia has, we can safely say, a challenging childhood.
Mhm.
However, as an adult, she's adjusted and considers herself very healthy and worked through all those issues. So I'd love to hear your story. And let's just start at the beginning. So the audience knows that we've talked a little bit before the show, and you're comfortable with all the subject matter. And if we're not, we're going to stop and we'll figure it out from there.
Right. One thing I do want to note that it is important to get my story out because a lot of people share a similar story. I don't want people to feel alone because I know that's a thing in the world. So I want people to know that it's okay and whatever things that they're going through is temporary. And they can get through it. So
I love that. And that's exactly why I wanted to have you on. You've got a great story to share, and it's not uncommon. There's others that have gone through the same things, and we don't always hear about it in the mainstream media or even in the new media,
right.
like how to deal with these things, or how life can be different down the road. So I'm really grateful that you're willing to share your story and be open about it. So starting when you're a kid, your dad was in prison a good portion of your childhood.
Yes, he was in prison a good portion. I can't quite remember exactly when he went to prison. I do remember he was out of the house at a pretty young age. My siblings and I were told that he was in California, but he will come back, and he just kind of disappeared. As we got a little older, we understood that he went to prison. He did go to prison for pedophilia. Both my sister and I were abused.
By your father?
By our father. And so we have had to deal with that trauma throughout our lives. But also, the other trauma that comes with that is abandonment. My mom, she really struggled with coping. And as an adult, I understand that now. But as a kid, you don't quite understand why your parents are gone. At a young age, we were feral children. I have 4 siblings. I have an oldest sister, an older brother, a younger sister, and a younger brother. And then I have a stepbrother from my stepdad. My parents have been together for 25 years now. I do call them my parents now. My stepdad has become my dad. Let's see. When we were younger, my mom was not able to cope. She was working most of the time, and then when she was not working, she was out at the Westerner. And so it was just the 4 of us. My older sister, she was out of the house at that point. She got married when she was 16, and so she was gone. My older brother, myself, my younger sister, and my younger brother, we were taking care of ourselves.
Wow.
Um, and so I kind of became, and I noticed over the years that I became the mother figure. I was holding on to anxiety for a long time because I was worried about my siblings. And that stemmed from that time in my life that I was taking care of my siblings. We were very poor. We did not have food in the house. There were several times where my uncles would ask if we had milk in the fridge. Um, and they would send food and milk. Um, and when my mom went to the food bank, it was like Christmas. So whenever we had food in the house, it was a huge deal. Um, yeah, I don't know.
No, that's no, I'm impressed that you're again willing to talk about this. I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Um, and this one I did not screen with you. So here we are. The first question is uncharted territory for you. Um, I was molested too as a child. And when it was happening, I knew, I mean, I was pretty young and I knew it was off. I didn't really crystallize that it's wrong, it's illegal, it's, all those things. But somewhere inside, I knew that it just wasn't, this is not what it's supposed to be. Did you
Mhm.
feel the same type of emotions or was it something? Because I've heard that some people experience that and they interpret it as love rather than as abuse. Did you feel like when it was happening, like this is just not right? Or what were your thoughts?
Yeah, so
If you remember.
I was about 12 and 13, and I just went into freeze. It was very much a freeze trauma response. I couldn't tell anybody. It was pretty scary, and I didn't know who to turn to. I did eventually turn to my brother. My brother and I have always been very close.
Your older brother.
My older brother. And he brought it to my mom's attention, and she flipped her lid. So she made the moves to put him in prison. And part of that, even after that, the trauma after was meeting with the social workers and sitting down and talking about what had happened. It was like I was reliving that. It was embarrassing. It was not something that I wanted to talk about. I just wanted it to be over. And I think that's also another huge aspect of trauma that people forget. They want to help you, but also in return, I mean, you will get the trauma through it too.
They're bringing it up and they're
Yeah.
bringing the trauma out again.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I wanted to just keep my mouth shut and just not talk about it and just move on.
How long did it last?
It was a few years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But my dad did not live with us at the time, so my parents had already been divorced. So it was pretty much any time we visited with him.
And you said it was your sister also?
My older sister, she was
Your
out of
older
the
sister,
house,
okay.
and I'm not quite sure the whole story with that. She has trauma with that for sure. She dealt with her trauma much differently than I did. We all dealt with our trauma much differently. So,
Okay. And you were very poor, obviously, because you didn't have any adults living there
right.
taking care of you. When your mom was out a lot, um, I think you said that that's kind of how she was dealing with it by
Mhm.
not dealing with you guys, but
Right.
being out of the house. Did she ever come home or was she gone for days at a time or?
I don't remember. I think she came home, but I think that might be something I blocked out. I'm not quite sure.
Sure, sure. Oh, understandable.
Yeah.
And being poor, of course,
Mhm.
you're kids and you're not working, I
Right.
guess. So how did you manage? You just did the best you could, or I guess did you eat lunch at school? And
We ate lunch at school. I remember my teacher, Mrs. Mattingly. I was the teacher's pet. She felt really bad for me, she would give me Nutter bars. So, and she would let me sit up on the heat exchange thing, and she just felt bad for me.
So she kind of knew your situation?
I think so. I think she knew that we were not getting food at home. And so she would bring me little snacks.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Was she like your 7th grade teacher?
She was
6th?
well, at that point, she was my 3rd grade teacher. So my dad was gone in California before, and then he came back, and my parents were divorced, and that's when he was molesting me.
Oh, so it was before you were 12 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. And then so your bigger sister was 16, got married, left the house.
Mm-hmm.
She never came back to live with you guys, or her and her husband never came back?
Nope.
Wow, that's incredible. You really were almost like street urchins with a home. How
They were
was
feral children,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. How was the rent being paid and the utilities and
I think my mom got a lot of the state to help. The church, the Mormon church, was helping quite a lot. The food banks were from the Deseret Industry food banks. So,
so she made arrangements to a degree,
yeah.
but she just wasn't around. And
Right. And, as an adult, her and I, we have mended our relationship. She is a really great mom, and I understand that she couldn't cope and she didn't know how to handle it. She was in her 30s and she could not understand why anybody would do anything like that to her children.
so you forgave her.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And you've probably heard, as many of us have, that if any of us children feel like either or both parents didn't fulfill their role, that we as adults should forgive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. I admit I'm not sure if I've forgiven my mom, and I have not had the trauma that you have. I was neglected, neglected. I was provided for, but never had parental guidance or reassurance but I think that was, they say the Gen Xers are the latchkey kids, and they get home from school and they have their own life and they see their parents every once in a while. So I'm sure I wasn't the only one. And at the time when I was a kid, I didn't know any different. So I just spent all my time riding my bike and playing in the woods and playing sports with my buds. And it wasn't until I was older that I kind of thought, she really didn't parent me. She paid my stuff, but I could have used maybe some guidance on relationships or how to date. My parents were divorced too. My dad was moved out when I was 5, and I lived with my mom. So, but I'm like you. I'm kind of like, she probably didn't know any better. There's this boy in her house. Maybe, if I was a girl, maybe relating to a daughter would be, I don't know. But I'm glad that you forgave her. I haven't quite gotten there.
Well,
not that I'm holding a grudge. It's just so hard because I know how much I love my son and how much attention I give him. And I'm not a helicopter parent. It's just, sitting down with him and explaining how the world works.
Well, I think we are in a generation where mental health has become more on the forefront. I think social media has definitely brought that to our attention. I think that it's a generational thing. I think back in the day, parents did not know. They didn't know how to parent. Their parents did not parent them. And they, in the 50s, you weren't allowed to play with Barbies if you're a boy. So it just kept going through the generations. And with social media now, it's okay for men and boys to cry. So I think now as parents, we can become more emotional and emotionally intelligent with our children and explain it in a different way. And I don't think that our parents knew how to do that, which is why I forgive my parents, both of them. So they just didn't know, and it's not their fault.
That's a great point and a very mature attitude, much more mature than mine, apparently. The generation, and I wonder too, and tell me what you think about this. So whatever was lacking in our parents, we, you and me, or any of us kids, could have repeated that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of us have done the opposite. Like, you certainly don't parent your kids the way you were parented.
Right.
And I don't parent my son the way, because everybody thinks, well, whatever your role model was, that's what you're going to do to your kid. And I'm pretty sure I'm almost exactly the opposite of them. Like, what do you think? What do you think?
Well, my dad was abused when he was a child. And so the abuse definitely went into his psyche. And my mother was not there when we were kids. But I see that, and same with my sisters, mostly, they have done the opposite. They're excellent moms. They are there for whatever their kids need. They show up, which is huge, which is huge for kids. We need to show up. I became an entrepreneur so that I can show up for my kids. My kid's dad, both of his parents and his best friend died within a year and a half of each other.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
he had a mental breakdown and he couldn't handle us, his family, myself and our two girls. And so he stepped out of the family. So I had to take on the parent role, the two-parent role by myself. So I was the single sole provider of both of my girls, and I did not want to show up like my parents did, and I wanted to make sure that my kids, I was there to pick them up from school. And oh, sorry, my mom is calling me now.
It was about to happen.
Yeah.
One of us.
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to be the parent that showed up for my kids, and I want them to know that I will be there no matter what. I do talk to them about social media. My daughter thinks it's ridiculous that I'm sending her reels that people get kidnapped.
Mm.
And I'm like, it's a real thing.
How old are your daughters?
So I have a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old.
All right. And they have Instagram.
They have, sorry, my mom is calling me again. My oldest has a phone and she has TikTok and Instagram. It's a tricky situation right now because their generation is all about electronics.
They see their friends doing it.
Their friends are doing it. It's just a thing that everybody does. But, you know, as a parent, you don't want them to be so far into it that they don't do anything else. So,
Sure.
yeah.
No, I was the same. And by the way, my out for that type of situation was always, hey, son, you know, when you're 18, you can pretty much do anything you want. Between now and then, I want to make some of the choices that I think are good for you. But my ex-wife and I think he was 13 when he got his first phone. And we put controls on it so it would limit his social media.
Yeah, my daughter is very smart, and so she has learned how to go around.
Go around
controls.
it. Okay. Well, and they kind of need a phone because there's
Yep.
no home phones anymore.
Right.
And, you know, it is good to know that if they're out somewhere that you can get a hold of them.
Yeah, I have GPS. I can see where she's at all the time. She'll text me if she doesn't want to be somewhere. She knows to check in with me. I'll check in with her. My littlest one, she just has a GPS watch phone. She's not ready for a phone yet. But she has a watch that has GPS and she can call a limited amount of people. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Well, and that's helpful and beneficial. I know some 4-year-olds that have the latest iPhone. And I'm like,
that's
yeah, I don't
too
know.
much.
I think so. It's just too much for their little heads, their brains, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm sorry, 12 and 8, right?
12 and 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you, back to your childhood a little
Yeah.
bit, so you got along really well with your older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Your older sister was out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of didn't have that much relationship anymore.
Right.
How about the two younger ones? Did you all get along? Or?
So my younger sister is 18 months younger than I am. So growing up, her and I shared a bed, and we were essentially each other's comfort item, comfort person, energy, whatever, up until 10 years ago or so. I mean, when I say that, we have been really close for our whole lives. I guess 10 years ago she got married, and so when you're in a situation where you are taking care of your siblings, you have anxiety about where they're at, what they're doing. And then I had to, when she got married to her husband, I had to say, okay, you now get to take care of her. I don't have to take care of her anymore. You can. And so that relieved my anxiety and worry about her. So,
Okay. And how old were you when your dad left? You were in third grade, so maybe 9?
well, I would probably say around 7,
Okay.
actually.
So he was out of the house when you were 7.
I think so. And then my mom and him got divorced a little bit later. I'm pretty sure at that point he was in prison. He passed away 2 years ago. So we're still kind of putting the pieces together. We have not been in contact with him for 28 years. So there's also that abandonment trauma with that, that a lot of people I don't think recognize as something like that. Their parent abandons them because they're in prison. Okay, so about 7, I think that's about the time that he started moving out or being out of the house. And I think that's when he went to California, as they would say, but I'm pretty sure it was prison. And after that, for several years, we were essentially feral children.
Okay.
And then my mom started working at the prison, ironically. And she met my stepdad there.
As a prisoner or a guard or admit?
He was the deputy warden.
Okay.
They did keep a lot of things from us. They wanted to protect us.
You mean information about your dad?
Information about our dad. And that's interesting. It's interesting because we understand that they were trying to protect us, but also it was almost like we were taking our choice away, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something we're going through right now, and we have been since his death, because we've been there's a lot of unresolved things and forgiveness again and all of that type of stuff. But yeah, and then he was out of prison, and he went through a class, I guess, so he would not continue to be a perpetrator. And so my mom allowed him back in our lives. And that's when I was 11, 12.
Gotcha. So he was abusing you before age 7?
Not me. He was abusing my sister.
Your little sister?
My older sister.
The one that got married at 16 and moved out of the house? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know that at the time?
No.
So the abuse with you started after he was out of prison,
Mm-hmm.
moved back, and you were about 12 or 13?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I hope I'm not all over the place. These are like memories coming back.
No.
into my
Let it go.
brain.
No.
Yeah, and then about 13, he was arrested again, and that was the last time we had ever seen him.
For 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And he passed 2 years ago, and that was a whole thing in itself. we also have a half brother. He had a son with his ex-wife, and his son, there's a handwritten note apparently that says he got everything in the will. He got all of the inheritance. And so my siblings and I are like, well, actually, I don't think that that's how that works.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of a like a big FU.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. A shock for sure.
yeah.
I'm curious about something, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so
Yeah.
steer me the right way. This issue of abandonment, which
Mhm.
despite being ignored as a child, I never felt abandoned, I think. Which is why I'm curious is, okay, so you're going through, okay, so he's in prison when right around you're 7. And that's when the feral siblings life began.
Yes.
That's when your mom didn't know how to handle it. She was out all the time. You got sort of provided for, but you were still really poor. You didn't always have food.
Right.
Okay. And then at age 12 or 13, he came back,
Mm-hmm.
started abusing you,
Mm-hmm.
got rearrested, and then he was gone. Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, well, excuse me, I guess I can go back. The abandonment from your dad, did you feel it when he left when you were at age 7, like he was in California? Or did you feel it when he went to prison the second time when you were 12 or 13?
Actually,
Or both?
I don't think I felt it until I became an adult later in life, or I didn't recognize it.
Sure.
You know, during that time, it's just like this huge change that we have to adapt to. And I know that people say that kids are resilient, but I don't know if kids actually are that resilient because it brings it into trauma or different things that you react to as an adult. So with the abandonment, I think it wasn't until much older that I recognized that I had abandonment issues. I tend to keep people at an arm's length because they may leave me at any minute. Even with my girl's dad, was trusting him and he abandoned us too. So, you know, I think that's when I realized that I actually do have abandonment issues.
Well, understandable.
But
Doesn't sound like you've had a male figure in your life.
well, my stepdad, he stood up and he walked into 5 teenagers and, well, maybe not. We weren't all teenagers, but he walked into teenagers who hadn't had parental figures for years, and that was very challenging for him. And he looks back and he thinks that he should have done things different, but it's okay. Even for him, he didn't know how to handle it. So there's definitely forgiveness there too.
And he's been with your mom for about 25 years since? Okay.
Yeah.
What was your relationship like with him after and how old were you when they got married?
I was about 15 or 16 when they got married. At that point, I just was like, okay, we'll see how long this will last.
Okay. So you didn't have high hopes.
I didn't, but he definitely stepped up. He was a deputy warden, so his
Solid job.
yeah, for sure. But he also had his ideas and his ways of doing things, which as a teenager we're going to
Disagree with.
push back. Yeah.
Especially a new dad.
Right, exactly. But he definitely stepped up as a parent.
Oh, well, that's good. And you could feel that when you were 15 and beyond.
No, not until much older.
Oh, okay. So you appreciated it later on.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, when you're in the middle of it,
Yeah.
plus being a teenager.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, well, I guess I was going to say had a good relationship with your mom, but obviously they did. They're still together after 25 years. Did you feel that in the household though? Like, did your mom, was she around at that point?
She was, yeah.
Okay.
It then became a stable environment
Gotcha.
for all of us.
So you were feral for about 8 years, age 7 to 15-ish.
I guess I never even thought about how.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was a long time.
Well, she was working full time. She had to be the single parent. And so, yeah, we were figuring it out by ourselves.
So she was working full time,
Hmm.
providing to a degree, but not around to be the parent, to be the loving mother and
Right.
all that. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and okay, so your next sibling, your sister,
Mhm.
18 months, good friends.
Yes.
Um, your younger brother,
Hmm.
how did was he too young to kind of conceptualize what was going on, or
He
was this
was
just like life for him?
he was pretty little. He did not. I guess it just was life for him. He was a mama's boy, and it could be because he wanted to have her there. When she was there, he was there with her. Um, yeah, I don't know. One time he fell on a tricycle and he smashed his face into the curb, and he came home and he came to me, and I probably maybe 14. I'm like, I have no idea what to do. So I called my friend whose mom was a nurse. And so that's what I could do. And still he has sinus damage from that. But yeah, my mom was not around to take care of him for that with that. Um he kind of got into a lot of stuff. He hurt himself a lot.
Wow. Was it
He
like,
jumping off couches
oh,
and
okay.
yeah.
I thought you meant like cutting or
No, no,
drug
no, no,
abuse or something. Okay.
no, not like
Okay.
that.
So he was a bit of a daredevil.
Yeah, I would say my older brother was the daredevil, though.
Hmm.
He would get canisters and flames, and
Oh,
he would jump over the neighborhood kids on a bicycle. And
Evil Knievel.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, we all did that.
Yeah. Well, I was too busy worrying about
Yeah.
everybody.
That's interesting that well, I mean, it seems obvious that you took the mother role because you were the oldest female
Hmm.
in the house, but that you had the anxiety. And it sounds like you had anxiety like a mother would. Not necessarily, well, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but so you had anxiety parenting the kids when your mom wasn't around. Do you feel like it was, now that you are a parent, was it the same type of anxiety, or did you have different anxiety when you were a kid because you're like, I really don't know what I'm doing here? Whereas as an adult, we don't start off knowing how to parent, but we kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
Does that make
I
sense?
think it was a different type of anxiety. It was a lot of worry. But now as a parent, I I know where my kids are all the time. So I'm able to ease that anxiety. I know how to manage it better. Um, but even at some points, if they were with their dad when they were younger, and he did not answer his phone, my anxiety was out of control. So it was very similar to the anxiety with my siblings.
I, I wonder if your sibling anxiety kind of stems from the abandonment, that your dad leaving and your mom subsequently leaving.
Yeah.
That not that you were necessarily afraid that your siblings were abandoning you, but it was the same feeling of stress, perhaps, that because they weren't nearby and you didn't know where they were. It sounds like.
Yeah, I was afraid that they were going to get hurt. I was afraid, they would just something would happen. Um, my brothers, both of them became alcoholics, and luckily they've overcome that. Um, my older brother just went through chemo. So when you're talking about healthy, it's, they've gone through quite a bit of trauma too, but they also have quite a bit of health problems. My brother just went through chemo. My younger sister has Hashimoto's and lupus right now. My younger brother, um, he has mental health issues like we all do, really. Um, but he had to overcome his alcoholism as well. So just worrying about stuff like that, worrying that I'm going to get a call in the middle of the night about one of my siblings is what I think I was worried about the most. I don't have that worry with my kids.
Hmm. Well, the technology probably helps, but
Yeah.
You have a wider view of the world, and
Right.
it sounds like you're aware that there's good people out there, and there's people that will stay committed to certain things. Um, so what were your later teen years like? So if he went back to prison, I guess around 15,
Mhm.
what, like finishing high school, how are things there?
So we were living with my mom and my stepdad, and I went to high school. I was definitely a troublemaker. I got arrested at school, ironically, for truancy.
They do that?
Yes.
Oh,
I did go to the detention center several times. I ran away from home. Um, so yeah, I've been arrested several times. I would go to the park in the bushes and smoke weed with my friends. I shaved my hair. I had mohawks. I had pink hair. I had black eyeliner. So I was rebellious when I was a teenager. But I, at the traditional high school, I decided that I didn't want to go there anymore. So I stopped going to school because my friends were going to an alternative school. So that was me saying, I'm doing this other thing. My mom then put me in an alternative school, and I was a straight A student.
wow.
Um, at that point, I moved in with some of my friends, and she did not like that. It didn't matter if I was getting straight A's, if I was an honor student. She said, "You're going to move up to your grandma's house." She just didn't like the environment that I was in. She didn't know, but it was just, she didn't like the idea of my friends. So she sent me up to my grandma's house. I said, I'll go if I'm in high school, if I'm registered within the first 3 weeks. And I was not registered within the first 3 weeks
Wow.
because of that.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Where'd your grandmother live? In
She
Idaho?
lived in Washington
Oh, Washington.
State. Yeah. So,
So how long were you out of school? Was it that
um,
whole year?
not the whole year. I left, I think I was in 11th grade or maybe 12th grade. I can't quite remember, but yeah, they took me out like in the middle of the school year, and I went up there and I said I need to be registered.
And you were taken out of the alternative school that you were doing great at.
Yep.
And the only reason they sent you to your grandma's is because you wanted to move in with a friend of yours.
I was living with my friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she said, I already bought you a ticket. You have to go.
Okay.
And I'm 17, and so I'm like, okay, well, if you bought me the ticket, now I have to go. I don't have a choice. That's what I felt like at the time. Yeah, so I was forced to drop out of high school.
So the rest of your 11th, or your just junior year.
I started working at Barnes & Noble, and I stayed living with my friends.
Did you go back for your senior year?
No.
Did you ever graduate?
I didn't graduate until I was in my late 20s.
Okay.
After that, I decided to put myself through school. And I'm a high honor college student. And I actually was offered 2 full academic scholarships at 2 separate universities. So, because I went to Salt Lake Community College, got my associates there. I was going to move to other universities for a bachelor's, but I thought I was going to. I did go to Boise State on a full academic scholarship, and then COVID happened. And so I was raising my girls by myself, so I stopped. But
Okay. What were you majoring in?
construction management.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you are an interior designer.
I'm an interior designer.
And that's your business?
That's my business.
Okay.
That's my livelihood.
How do you like being an entrepreneur?
I love it. I love being able to do whatever I want. I love being able to pick up my kids from school, drop them off. I love being able to make my own schedule, meet with people whenever I want to. I love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the entrepreneur bug pretty early. I
Yeah.
think I did the corporate America thing like my first 3 years out of college. By the time I was 25, I'm like, this is not for me. And I was good at it. I mean, I knew I was good at office politics. I got promotions and
Yeah.
the whole bit, and I knew how to work, overtime to make, so, I took
Hmm.
the night shift differential because they paid 10% more automatically.
Yeah.
Like, I knew how to do it, but the work just was not satisfying at all.
Yeah, me too. I worked at Barnes and Noble for a long time, and then I worked at Graywell, which is a local record store. I managed that, and both places I was the top. Well, maybe not Barnes and Noble, but the top sales at Graywell. Um, yeah, I was good at it.
Yeah, but you're still locked in. You're
Yeah,
locked into their rules, their schedules,
yeah, exactly.
you
I
know.
I love being able to be creative. I'm doing a festival right now, and it's an arts festival called Zep Fest. I just decided I wanted to do it one day, and I started doing it.
So where is that?
So it's
Tell us about that.
yeah, so it's Zep Fest. It's an all-encompassing arts festival. It's music, podcasts, live podcasts, art, film, comedy, metaphysical, health and wellness, local businesses. Um, I am part of a daybreak or a networking group, and one of my thoughts was I want to be able to support these small businesses, and then it expanded to a festival. So
That's a pretty big deal.
yeah,
So you're the organizer for that?
I'm one of the top.
One of the
Yeah,
top
it
ones?
was my idea, and we're
Wow.
collaborating with a film festival that has been doing it for 3 years. So I pulled together a group of people, and we've been moving forward with it.
Well, congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah.
How much time is it taking?
Um, right now, during the planning process, it's not taking a whole lot of time, but also I love the creative aspect, so it may not seem like, or I may be taking more time than I think,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Well, that's neat and something, another entrepreneurial endeavor. How long
Yeah.
have you been doing the interior design?
I've been doing it for well over a decade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I've owned my own business for 6 years. I started because I had to. Um, I became a single mom, and I was working for my aunt, and then COVID happened. And after that, I said, I either have to work for myself or I work at a bank. And during that time, well, I made the decision to work for myself. I was not hired, I was not hireable. Nobody would hire me because I'm a single mom. I can't work on Saturdays. People were telling me, stay home with your kids. People were literally telling me, we can't hire you because you have kids. So I decided to work for myself. I had the skills to be able to do it. And my kids started getting sick. So once a month, we were in urgent care or the hospital with influenza A or something like that. And so their dad was nowhere to be found. I didn't really have a support system around me. So I had to make it work, just like any single parent does. But I was doing everything by myself. I was making the money. I was feeding my children. I was being their sole supporter. So,
Well, that's great. Kudos for making it work. Some people just give up and they rely on other people to take care of them. Um, but, you dug deep and figured out what you could do and you did it.
I think a lot of that, though, has to do with my childhood and knowing that it's just me and my siblings, and that's who's going to show up.
And isn't that interesting? Because I feel the same way about myself, that my dad was gone when I was 5. We stayed in touch, a few phone calls here and there, and I would see him summers, but really, I was raised by my mom.
Mhm.
And she didn't give me any guidance, didn't spend any time with me. And growing up, I didn't know any different. So, like you, I think I conformed to that and was able to make my way, and I was a happy kid. I had a great time as a child and did pretty good in school, not like you did when you buckled down.
Right.
But it is interesting how trauma, let's call it trauma. Well, you had trauma. I don't know if I exactly had trauma, but I had not the best childhood. But how that shapes you for the better and prepares you for, like, it makes you tough.
Yeah.
And it makes you creative. And you're able to solve problems that maybe you wouldn't have if, not you personally, but just us,
Right.
if we had kind of that perfect environment almost. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's hard to quantify because we can't, I mean, you could have still been in the exact position you are now, even if you had the perfect childhood. Like, it could be,
Right.
but still, it's kind of like I can look back at myself and say, I'm almost glad that she didn't parent me because I was able to find my way. I was
Mhm.
able to kind of do my own thing and try things. And
Yeah, and I'm now able, and I appreciate the trauma that I've had to go through because now I'm able to teach my children and help them go through their own trauma as a parent. Um, when my girl's dad had a mental breakdown, my mom, some of the important lessons she was saying, I went through the same thing. I know exactly how you feel. And so that was a lesson for me to have gratitude for those moments, to have gratitude for the trauma that I've experienced so that I can walk my kids through it.
you actually can relate to it. And then you're there, unlike your parents weren't there.
Yeah.
So transition from, let's say your teen years, your junior year. When did you, and assuming you've healed completely, I hope you have, and if not, we could talk about that too. But like, at what point did you start feeling like you were getting over your childhood, like what your dad did to you and how your mom wasn't around and how you grew up poor? How, do you feel like there was a point, like looking back especially, was there a point in your life where you kind of took the turn and you're like, okay, I'm not going to let this define me anymore. I'm going to.
Yes. So when my oldest daughter was born, my mom was in the delivery room and I didn't want her to be there, actually. It wasn't, her and I did not have a close relationship. But when my daughter was born, that's when it turned. After that, her and I actually became very close.
You and your mom.
Yeah. And there was a lot of forgiveness. And forgiveness is, I don't forgive other people for them. I forgive other people for me.
Of course.
Because why am I holding on to something that somebody may or may not know what they've done? So it was pointless to keep holding on to that. And so I let it go. I don't think it was a subconscious thing. I mean, I don't think it was a conscious thing. I think it was subconscious. But my mom and I had a much better relationship after that.
Good. Good. And you still do today?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. We just call and chat. And she has helped me quite a lot through just a lot of the trauma that I go through now.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're over all that childhood trauma, or is there anything that sticks with you or rears its head at certain times in your life?
I think that I'm over it. I think that I do have gratitude. I have gratitude for everything that I've gone through in my life. I have gratitude for it because it shows that I am human. It shows that I'm alive and that I can also help other people and let them know that it's okay. You are human. It's part of the human experience. There's also the flip side where there's good things. So it's like yin yang, the darkness and the lightness. And we as humans get to experience both of them.
I love that. That's such a good attitude. And obviously that comes from within. I mean, you had to learn that on your own because your parents didn't model that for you.
Right.
They didn't teach it to you.
Yeah.
But I think that's innate in us. And I think our happiness to a large degree, or at least, if not happiness, our contentment. Let's say, because happiness is here, contentment is here, misery and sadness.
Yeah.
But it really is a choice. And there's different ways of coping and there's different ways of getting over trauma. And sometimes it takes longer than others.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, you just got to decide in your life, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And I love the gratitude piece and the older I've gotten, the more I think of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in a bad mood, which is rare, it's pretty easy to flip the switch and say, well, okay, look at my life. I love my house. I've got a decent car. I got enough clothes. My son is fantastic. I got friends. Well, I've got spare time. I'm an entrepreneur, so I know how to make what am I griping about? And pretty quickly I can get in a better mood.
Well, even, there's a lot of people who don't have that, but even, they don't have, or maybe they're late on their payments, or, they're really struggling, and even finding gratitude. One of the biggest things that I found gratitude in was the sun shining through a leaf and you can see the veins on the leaf. And that was really beautiful to me, and just being able to appreciate the little tiny things in the world, the sun shining and the warmth on my face, and just being outside and just finding gratitude in little tiny things that maybe you can't find when you're stuck in the darkness, or it's hard to find when you're stuck in the darkness. Just finding those little glimpses of light.
Yeah, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
I just love that because, with what you went through as a child, it's easy to complain as an adult. It's easy to blame your parents. It's easy to not move forward and blame others. And I just love how you said it wasn't really a conscious thing. It was all this, was the gratitude and kind of the attitude, not that I'm putting you down for a different attitude, but like your attitude adjustment, let's say, was that with the birth of your
No.
first? Oh,
No.
did it happen sooner?
Actually, it happened a lot later, more recently.
Oh, gotcha.
When actually my second daughter, who was 8, I had very awful postpartum depression with her, almost to the point of psychosis. It was very, very scary for me. And that's when I started going through and feeling the gratitude, being grateful for the small things.
Do you mind if I ask you about your postpartum depression?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But how did you feel? Like, what? I know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
It was absolutely awful. The environment is what I think triggered the initial depression. I was living in a very small town. I didn't know anyone. It was in Washington. The sun was not out. It was very gray all the time. And then my daughter was born. And even before that, I told my doctor, I said, I think I might have postpartum depression after she's born. I feel it coming. So when she was born, she was about 4 months old, I was on the couch watching TV, and I had a wave of panic go over me. It felt like I was on a really bad acid trip. It was awful. I was by myself with my 2 kids. I called my sister, my older sister. She actually lived down the street from me at this point. I said, I need you to come over. I am very scared. I feel like I can't go to sleep. If I go to sleep, I'm afraid that I'm going to wake up and my kids will be murdered and it will be my fault. So it was very scary. I could barely sleep. So my sister came over and she just sat in the house until I fell asleep. At that point, I got on antidepressants and I was able to get myself out. I needed antidepressants so that I could get to a point where I could get myself out of the rest of the way of depression and anxiety. But it was awful. I was having panic attacks every day for months.
Even on the meds?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I um was trying to not be on medication first, and then my doctor said, "Alicia, I really encourage you to get on antidepressants. It will help you." And sure enough, after a little while, it did help me.
How long did you need to take them?
I took them for 6 months.
Okay.
And then I was able to get to a point where I could manage myself. I wasn't able to manage myself at that point when I was going through all of that. I was very close to the point of psychosis. It was very scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the meds helped.
Yes.
And 6 months after you started taking them,
Mm-hmm.
you were able to get off.
I was-
And again, another victory that you didn't get addicted to the numbness or whatever they did to you, the sedation, I guess. Where do you think that comes from? Is that just, again, I don't know if it's in our DNA or we make a choice to say, I'm just not going to be in pain anymore. I mean, as much as we can. Like, we can't control the world, we can't control all of our emotions. But I do think to a large part we can kind of control how much we let things get to us or.
Yes. So I consciously made decisions not to drink alcohol during those times. I did not want to become an alcoholic because that is easy to do. And then it's very hard to get out. I've seen it throughout my life. So during that time, I made the choice to feel the feelings, to get through it because I knew it was temporary. That was one of the biggest things, was telling myself this is only temporary and I'm able to get through it. But yeah, I made conscious decisions to not do drugs, not do alcohol, and just feel it because it's okay.
No, I think that's great in healing. I think, and I've been close to a couple of addicts,
Mm-hmm.
and in my opinion, they're preventing themselves from growing up. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some adults my age that, in some ways, have the mind of a 16-year-old because they haven't gone. You know, when tragedy strikes, or when stress strikes, they numb themselves.
Yep.
And I think, the yin and the yang, you go through the dark times to get to the light times. And knowing how to manage the dark times teaches you how to manage further dark times in the future.
Right. Also, having support around you, they don't have to understand what you're going through, but just being there. I had a few friends when I was going through my postpartum depression. That just them being there. I didn't have to have a ton of people around. Even my mom and my sister, my younger sister, they were very supportive.
This is the 18-month apart sister.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just even giving them a call or just texting them in the middle of the night saying, "Am I going crazy?" And my sister would say, "No, you're not going crazy. It's okay." So,
That does help. That's good. She's still now you said that maybe 10 years ago you're not quite as close because she got married, or.
well, we still have been very close. Yeah, more recently, not so much, but that's okay. We'll come back. We always do. We've gotten our tiffs and then we always come back. So,
And life is ebb and flow. I mean,
right,
sometimes it's.
exactly.
And you've got a good relationship with your mom now.
Yeah.
Okay. And your dad passed 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and you had mentioned that you're thinking of making a book out of what?
His letters. So he had written, I have stacks of letters from him, from my grandmother, his siblings, um, documents from court hearings, stuff like that. I'm thinking about putting it all together, perspectives from a pedophile, I guess, and, you know, seeing how that might work out.
Did he write letters to you and your siblings?
He did, but we never received them. It was a protection.
Oh,
My
okay.
parents were trying to protect us.
Are they gone now, or are those letters somewhere?
I have them
Oh, you
all.
have
Yeah.
those too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Have you? And I guess you've read them.
No, I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Kind of scared of what they say, or
I well, I have been processing his death and how that has affected me. I'm getting to the point where I'm able to sit down and go through them and learn different things about just parts of life that we missed. Yeah, there were letters. I actually just opened one of the boxes yesterday and there was a letter written to my sister, my younger sister. And it's talking about how she's a teenager now and so little things like that.
it's got to be hard. And they're not little things; they're big things.
Yeah.
Because your parent, and it's so interesting that parents, even when they do wrong, we still want their love.
Absolutely.
And when we don't get it, it hurts worse.
Yeah.
It's like trauma on top of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is, for me and my mom, was hard. She, when I was a kid, I didn't know any better. In my 20s, we were pals. Like when she moved out, I bought her house, and she moved out. We'd just see each other every 3 or 4 months. We'd have dinner, we'd watch a movie, and it was fun. Like we would just pal around. And it wasn't until I met my wife at the time, I was in my late 20s, that my mom, I don't know if she got possessive of me or something, or she just tried parenting me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like before I quit big business and I started my first business, she was so freaked out about it. Oh, you're going to lose all your benefits. You don't want, like, she was totally non-supportive. But and even, as you get older, I think you need your parents on your side at least,
Yeah.
And I guess, and when I say I haven't forgiven her, it's not like I'm walking around with a grudge. It's just like, I needed you, and you didn't come through, and then you died before. And we had a decent relationship, like the last 10 years. That's when I got divorced, was about 12 years ago. And she moved in and helped me with my son. And we had great talks sometimes, but then she was kind of helter-skelter. Like sometimes she'd be in a great mood and sometimes not. But I just talked to her 15 minutes before she died on the phone. And then I get a call from the doctor, and I just figured it was an update. Hey, this is Dr. So-and-so. Oh, yeah, how's it going? Well, sorry to tell you, your mom. And I heard I think this is very accurate, that grief is unfulfilled love. That when you grieve for somebody, it's because you kind of weren't finished with that relationship. And I didn't feel grief or sadness when my dad died. And I didn't spend that much time with him. But the relationship he and I had was satisfactory. It was fulfilling. He did teach me things about life. He taught me about money, taught me about investing, taught me about budgeting, how to get a job, how to make, a good impression at work. So I feel like there was no grief there, but with my mom, like when she died, I was like, we never finished. Like, I'm in my 50s and I'm still like, I need my mom.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's, but I'm guessing that's maybe the way it was with your dad. And maybe that's why you don't want to open those letters.
Well, with my dad, there was a lot of things, even in adulthood, that he inspired me to do. Music, for one. I did choir up until high school, and then I just kind of got cool, I guess. But music has been a huge part of my life since I was a kid, and he brought that into my life. What else? Cars. My brothers are both into cars, stuff like that. Houses. I think part of the reason why I'm an interior designer is because he invested in homes when we were kids. He bought apartment buildings, remodeled them, stuff like that. But maybe that's what my grief was, is that, there's still parts of my dad that are here with me now, but they are gone now. Like there's no resolve with that. So,
Yeah, it's amazing how, we get older and sometimes we still hurt, as a child.
yeah.
But I love the fact that you've resolved your childhood. It's a shame about your siblings that they kind of struggled after, but do they look to you then? Because it sounds like of the five of you, you're kind of the most, maybe the most stable or the most well-adjusted. Like, do they come to you and you soothe them, or?
No, they're pretty independent and stubborn. I mean, if they listened to me, they would be much better, right? Everybody who listened to me would know exactly what to do. But no, they have their own unique things, but they're still processing trauma and their own thoughts from other things that happened in their life. So, yeah, I don't know. They don't come to me. They should, like I said, because they would not have health problems.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they recognize that it could be trauma. My sister, my younger sister, she has recently started recognizing that her health issues could be from childhood trauma. My older sister doesn't want to have anything to do with healing. She says she's healing in her own way, but in my opinion, she's holding her trauma so hard
Mm.
that it's become part of her identity. She doesn't want to let it go because she doesn't know how she would be. And I think that's actually a pretty common thing with people is they don't know how to let go because it will change who they are.
Some people get mileage from trauma and pain.
Right. Yeah. My older brother, he just went through chemo, and I'm hoping that kind of shook him a little bit to be able to resolve his traumas. He was an alcoholic, and I think he was afraid to face his trauma, so he was hiding it. He was trying to drown it. And then my younger brother, he has some mental health issues that he needs to resolve himself. And he was an alcoholic for a while, but he stopped. Luckily, good for him.
Yeah, good. Well, and it sounds like your daughters are great, and
Mhm.
you haven't carried any trauma over to them.
I may have. Well, I think that when their dad left, I think my oldest has really struggled with that. And the only thing I know how to do as a parent is to just be there and support her and let her know that I'm here. She also goes to therapy. She's been going to therapy since she was younger. But with them, she's very, very smart. She is 12 and she reads at a 12th grade reading level.
Wow.
And she excels at school. I do not worry about her at school with her grades. She is very smart. My younger daughter is very athletic. She's a competitive cheerleader. So she's won several awards with that. So, and she is very stubborn and very much like me.
Got that part of your personality.
Yeah,
Okay.
it can be hard.
Well, great.
Yeah,
So you feel good about both of them.
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's good. Well, I think the brain space we can take from this is, to a degree, happiness is a choice. And everybody's got hard times. There are obviously some people that have harder times and more hard times. But at the end of the day, you have to decide if you're just going to let the pain consume you and define you, or if you're going to hopefully get over it and see the good things in life. I love your gratitude attitude.
Yeah.
That's so good. I mean,
Well,
we really have it great in the United States. You know,
yeah,
we have a lot of flaws,
right.
but I mean, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Just basically where we live,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. And being human, you know, being living in the human experience. It's good or bad, and just having gratitude for all of it.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody's perfect and the world's not perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
okay, so if you met somebody like you who had similar or the same childhood trauma and they're, I don't know, 20, 25, 30 years old, whatever, struggling, what would you tell them?
I will usually tell people that it's okay. It's okay to be human. It's okay to live where you're at in your life, in your traumas. It's okay. It's only temporary. Um, get help where you need it. If you need to go to the doctor, it's okay. If you need to be on medication, it's okay. I think that's a huge thing that there's like a whole thing around it. Like, if you're seeing a therapist or if you're on antidepressants, then something is wrong with you. But I don't think that's true. I think that it's okay to reach out for help like that if you need it. Self-care is very important. Exercise, yoga, meditation, having gratitude, and just appreciate and have gratitude that you get to experience different things in the world.
I love it. All wonderful things.
Yeah.
Personally, and this is kind of tougher maybe, do you believe that any person that's gone through any kind of trauma can overcome it?
I mean, I don't know, because I don't know what other people's trauma looks like. With my trauma, I go through I've gone through so many different types of trauma, and I'm still processing some, and that's okay. It's part of, like I said, it's part of being in the world and being human. Um, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that means exactly. Have
Sure.
I overcome it? I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you've made huge strides. I mean, you're more on the healed side than the damaged side. I believe. I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah. I would say I have gone through enough trauma that I'm able to have gratitude and forgiveness for it, so that I don't have a darkness inside where I'm holding on to it and it's taking over my body. Yes.
Right. Sure. Yeah, like with
Yeah.
postpartum.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's good.
Yeah, I have gratitude for postpartum. That was very scary for me, and I was able to get out of it. So,
Well, thank you again for that. Before we start to wrap up, talk about the festival again in September.
okay.
And if you have a website where if people can find you for interior design or whatever else you've got going on.
Okay, so Zep Fest, zepfest.org is the website on that. It is an all-encompassing arts festival. Film, music, podcasts, artists, metaphysical, health and wellness, comedy, local businesses, artisans, all in the same world at the same time in South Jordan and Salt Lake, at different local businesses throughout both cities. And then
What are the dates again?
September 8th through the 14th. And my website is aliciahensley.com or paramountdesignandremodel.com.
Can you spell Alicia Hensley?
ALICIAHENSLEY.com.
Okay.
Yep.
And the other one, I'm sorry.
Paramount Design and Remodel.
And that's for your interior design company.
That's for my remodel, my GC remodel company.
General contractor. Okay.
Yeah, so we do design and remodel with that.
Very cool.
With just Alicia Hensley, I only do design.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Well, thanks for that. Before I let you go, we have one more thing. It's called the speed round.
okay.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You have to answer them as succinctly and quickly as possible.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
No, but okay.
You want to take a breath? You take a minute?
It's okay.
Okay. All right. True or false? Tom Cruise is the greatest stuntman on earth.
False.
Yes or no? Pineapple on pizza.
Yes.
Okay, now you like music, so I got a few music ones. I'm going to ask you all the music ones.
Perfect.
Whole Lot of Rosie or Whole Lot of Love?
Whole lot of love.
Favorite movie?
The Labyrinth.
Is that with
Bowie.
and Jennifer Connelly?
Mhm.
Favorite book?
The Alchemist.
Favorite TV show?
Young Sheldon.
Are ghosts real?
Energy is real.
Are ghosts real?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, fair. How do we end war?
Take away the money aspect. I don't know.
Asian or Mexican food?
Asian food.
This one's a little long, so bear with me. True or false? The bands Asia, Europe, and America should get together and record the song Africa. True or false?
True.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What is the meaning of life?
Gratitude.
Coke or Pepsi?
None. Coke, I guess, if I were to choose. I don't drink soda.
Where is the best place to get free money without working?
Your parents?
Okay. Is the earth flat or round?
Round.
Every cloud has.
Every cloud has. I don't know. I don't know. Every cloud has. I don't even know. I don't know.
Okay. A bird in the hand is.
A bird in the hand is delicate, I guess.
If it ain't broke, don't.
Fix it.
You can't have your cake and.
Eat it too.
Who is better at running things? Free people or politicians?
Ooh. I think that's a rhetorical question.
What's your rhetorical answer?
Well, if you have a group of people, there becomes a leader, and then that leader becomes a politician.
Okay. So even the free people eventually have leaders who
Yes.
are sort of politicians. Okay.
Right.
When was the last time you proposed a toast?
I don't know. Probably my sister's wedding.
Okay. True or false? Our kids are the best thing to ever happen to us.
True and false?
Okay. Stranger Things or Walking Dead?
Stranger Things.
How do you like your steak?
Medium.
Barbie or Hello Kitty?
Barbie.
Which Prince song do you like best? 1999, Purple Rain, or Bob George?
Purple Rain.
Prince or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Bruce Springsteen or Rick Springfield?
Probably Rick Springfield.
Metallica or Pantera?
Metallica.
2112 or Xanadu?
Xanadu. Just,
City or country?
city.
Video games or board games?
Board games.
Live Wire by Motley Crue or Live Wire by AC/DC?
Probably AC/DC.
Magic by the Cars or Magic by Olivia Newton-John?
The Cars.
Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo?
Nintendo.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to, my kids say it, to get to Chick-fil-A or my kids make silly jokes up. So
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Complete this sentence. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more.
I don't even know.
Okay.
Dancing, I guess. I don't know.
More dancing?
I don't know.
All right. Do you have a hankering for a hunk of cheese?
No.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Alicia, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it's an inspiration to anyone listening to this. Any trauma somebody's had, I think you've given some good guidelines and ideas on how to overcome it. So thank you very much. And thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Remember to like and comment on these videos. That tells the algorithm at YouTube to send them out to more people. And if you haven't yet, I don't know what your problem is, but subscribe to the Perfect Society YouTube channel. There's a lot of great content on there. Lastly, visit everybody'shappy.com. There's more information on there about the Perfect Society. And there's also merch. We have merch on the website. These cool mini stickers, which can decorate your tablet or laptop. The bumper stickers look great on everything. And we have t-shirts. So the Perfect Society t-shirts, front and back, everybody'shappy.com. What size do you wear?
Medium-ish.
Medium? There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
So buy merch, just so you know that the EHEW group that owns the channel and my book, the profit margin on all of our merch is less than $3. We include free shipping and we price everything to sell because the point is just to get the word out. Profits are great. We'll never turn those down, but it's also not forefront on our minds. So anyway, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Share these videos, share this video with at least 5 people because I know that you know 5 people that have been through some trauma and they're still struggling. So send that to them. And thank you for joining us. Adios, goodbye, sayonara. Have a good evening, good day, and good life.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. That was fun.
Yeah.
While writing the second draft of Alicia's final thought, I stumbled across an Instagram post which contained a parable which I think sums up perfectly the main takeaway of my conversation with her. So I'll tell you the parable, and then I'll add some final thoughts of my own. This is a parable of a farmer that owned an old mule. The mule fell into the farmer's well. The farmer heard the mule braying, and carefully assessing the situation, the farmer sympathized with the mule, but decided that neither the mule nor the well was worth saving. Instead, he called his neighbors, told them what happened, and enlisted them to help him haul dirt to bury the old mule in the well and put him out of his misery. Initially, the old mule was hysterical, but as the farmer and his neighbors continued shoveling and the dirt hit his back, a thought struck him. It dawned on him that every time a shovel load of dirt landed on his back, he should shake it off and step up. This he did, blow after blow. Shake it off and step up. Shake it off and step up. Shake it off and step up. He repeatedly encouraged himself that no matter how painful the blows or how distressing the situation, he would work to rise above, one step at a time. The old mule fought panic and just kept right on shaking it off and stepping up. Eventually, the old mule, battered and exhausted, stepped triumphantly over the wall of the well. What seemed like would bury him actually blessed him, all because of the manner in which he handled his adversity. That's life. If we face our problems and respond to them positively and refuse to give in to panic, bitterness, or self-pity, the adversities that come along to bury us usually have within them the potential to benefit and bless us. Every one of us can be like Alicia. No matter what the adversity, we can shake it off and step up. No matter what happened in your past, you decide if you're going to be buried by life or if you're going to rise above. You can either make it happen or you can make excuses. The past is dead, and the future is your imagination. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.